October the 31st. In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us with groans that words cannot express. And He who searches our hearts knows the mind of the Spirit, because the Spirit intercedes for the saints in accordance with God's will. Romans chapter 8, verses 26 and 27. There is a deep mystery in prayer. It is a delicate, divine tool that words cannot express and theology cannot explain. But the humblest believer knows, even when he does not understand. Oh, the burdens we lovingly bear, but cannot understand. Oh, the inexpressible longings of our hearts for things we cannot comprehend. Yet we know they are an echo from the throne of God and a whisper from His heart. They are often a groan rather than a song, and a burden rather than a floating feather. But they are a blessed burden, and a groan whose undertone is praise and unspeakable joy. They are groans that words cannot express. We cannot always express ourselves, and often all we understand is that God is praying in us for something that only He understands and that needs His touch. So we can simply pour from the fullness of our heart the burden of our spirit and the sorrow that seems to crush us. We can know that He hears, loves, understands, receives, separates from our prayer everything that is in error, imperfect, or wrong. And then He presents the remainder along with the incense of the great high priest before His throne on high. We may be assured that our prayer is heard, accepted, and answered in His name. A. B. Simpson. It is not necessary to be continually speaking to God or always hearing from God in order to have communion or fellowship with Him. For there is an unspeakable fellowship that is sweeter than words. A little child can sit all day long beside his mother, totally engrossed in his playing. His mother is consumed by her work, and although both are busy and few words are spoken by either, they are in perfect fellowship. The child knows his mother is there, and she knows that he is all right. In the same way, a believer and his Savior can continue many hours in the silent fellowship of love. And although the believer may be busy with the ordinary things of life, he can be mindful that every detail of his life is touched by the character of God's presence, and can have the awareness of His approval and blessing. Then, when troubled with burdens and difficulties too complicated to put into words and too puzzling to express or fully understand, how sweet it is to fall into the embrace of His blessed arms and to simply sob out the sorrow that we cannot speak.